Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of Crypto Tips. My name is Heidi.
And I'm Toby.
And guess what? We have another AMA session for you guys. So these questions were sent to us by our Patreon members, so thank you everyone who contributed and sent in your questions. They're awesome. Like, for example, this one. Do you think the green coin issue will have an impact on Bitcoin and Ethereum going forward? Will less energy reliant altcoins gain ground because of this issue, or is it overblown? Relevant
The green coin issue, like
energy efficient, clean coins.
I think it's completely useless FUD with this green coin issue. Bitcoin is literally the greenest technology the world's ever seen in terms of monetary value. Let me explain that. All right, so you have these globalist puppets like Elon Musk and all these other people that are saying, okay, or even the IMF, I think, even said, or the World Bank said, even to El Salvador that, oh yeah, it's not green enough or whatever, Bitcoin, so we're not going to help you out. So let's talk about the US dollar really quick. I've gone over this before, and I'll go over it again. You know, the number one thing keeping the US dollar alive is the US military. The U.S. military is the most disgusting polluter on the face of the planet. By far, nothing has ever come close to the U.S. military as far as pollutants is concerned. So that's the biggest polluter in the world. Then let's go over to the banking system, the structure of the banking system, the brick and mortar of the banking system, the human capital of the U.S. dollar that keeps the dollar alive. You have bureaucrats, or what I like to call them. You have all of these different people that are used to keep the U.S. dollar alive. You know, with transactions, you have overnight repo scams that's going on with the Federal Reserve and the Treasury and different banks. So yeah, this is no. Well, I haven't even talked about the inflation on the $550 trillion global debt that's going on, inflating away at 7%. That's complete slavery, as Robert B. Breedlove would have said. The U.S. dollar is disgusting. It's filthy. So is every other fiat currency out there. Nothing even comes close to Bitcoin. So even if Bitcoin never changed the way it is right now, with miners doing the same thing over and over again, and even if China didn't even get involved with the mining situation over there, Bitcoin would still be the cleanest form of currency the world has ever seen. And now it's going to get even cleaner because it's going to be decentralized. Miners are going to go towards cleaner ways of doing
like renewable sources of energy.
Yeah, renewable sources, because they don't want to rely on the state so much, on the state electricity power grid. So yeah, you're going to see things that you've never could even dream of. What the free market's going to come up with in this space.
This whole argument of Bitcoin being energy, a high consumer of energy, or a waste of energy, or bad for the environment, is someone who is, in my opinion, quite frankly, just triggered by that whole conversation rather than actually looking at the facts and comparing it to the current system that they are participating in every single day of their life. They're getting paid in that currency, talking about what Toby was saying with the US dollar. In my opinion, you can't have a strong opinion in that regard against Bitcoin if you are actively participating in the fiat system, because that you are a hypocrite 100%. If that's what the stand that you're gonna take. Not to say that obviously the miners in Bitcoin are incentivized to pursue the best source of energy.
I should say
economically.
The person asking this question isn't a hypocrite. It's a really good question, and it needs to be brought up big time.
Yeah, it's definitely a hot issue that a lot of people are being confronted with. And if you don't know any better, you're going to start questioning it. If you're only going to see the one side of it, that whoever wants you to see it, but you don't pursue any more of it, you might be led to believe something that is other than the truth.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically miners are economically incentivized to pursue things like renewable energy, and most of them actually do use that. Furthermore, Ethereum is moving to proof of stake very soon, at least in the next couple years at least. That in itself is a step away from so much energy consumption compared to proof of work coins, heavily used proof of work networks like Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But
It's untested.
here's the thing, we need to consider the importance of a network that is immutable, that is secure. Proof of work is proven to be secure, point blank. Try to test me on that. I don't care. Let's talk about it in the comments if you disagree. Proof of stake is by far less tested than proof of work. It's a different incentivized model to create honesty on a network. And so we'll see how that goes, but just keep in mind that not necessarily the greenest coin is going to be the most secure coin or the best cryptocurrency to invest in. I think it's a very trendy topic. It can get people very emotional to think about, and a lot of these propagandists tend to play on those nerves. So keep that in mind. And yeah, thank you for asking this question. Next one, about keeping Bitcoin holdings anonymous and private. Do you have any experience using mixer wallets like Wasabi with CoinJoin protocol or Samurai's Whirlpool? Any pros, cons to these software tools? First of all, I know that you need to pay attention to the wallets that you, number one, the origin of your Bitcoin. If you ever purchased it through an exchange that went through KYC or through something like a debit card or credit card, let's say a BTM, Bitcoin ATM required you to identify yourself when you bought your Bitcoin. You need to pay attention to that wallet connecting to something like this. And also on the reverse, the wallet that you're going to be withdrawing your clean coins, your mixed coins into. Basically, you want to avoid any kind of repetitive or pattern that can be identifiable. Furthermore, if you are doing this, then you want to keep those private. You want to keep them forever, basically. You're not trying to use those to make a big purchase or to cash out into fiat using a centralized exchange, because if you do, you might, depending on the amount of money you're dealing with, you might have to identify the history of those funds. And furthermore, depending who you're dealing with, they might be able to tell, like especially if you're saying, okay, yeah, this is what I did with it. Even if you didn't say you mixed them, they might be able to tell that you did use a coin mixer. So just keep that in mind. I mean, Monero has been the tried and true privacy coin. I think it's been proven that they can't track any Monero transactions. So maybe even it might be cheaper for your to trade from Bitcoin to Monero and then back into Bitcoin. That's the way to kind of mix up your coins if you want. And you can do so on different decentralized exchanges that don't require your identification, like BISC. I know one of the highest volumes on BISQ, I always do that, is that BISC is what I was talking about. The highest volume there is for the Bitcoin and Monero pairs. So something for you to check out there as well. I'll also link below a website that goes through and rates a lot of these different coin mixing websites. There's a lot of different ones, things to pay attention to, different capabilities that they allow you to do, whether you can use one transaction to send to many different wallets. If they actually keep track of your IP address, your transaction history. If they ask you for a login information or anything like that, those are all red flags. Furthermore, some of these mixing platforms also claim not to keep a log of any of that information, but then they actually do. So this one website I'm referencing, they actually have a good point is to actually mix it on one and then mix it on another, just in case. Either one of those keeps a log, then it's all gravy.
I should say also, like, coin mixers will be more and more sophisticated as time goes on, because governments will help out with that. So governments are always trying to track coins or whatever.
They'll ironically help out with that.
Exactly. Well, the free market will be able to just move 10 times, 100 times faster than government can, and we'll be able to be always 10 to 100 steps ahead of anything governments are creating. And that's fantastic. So thank your local government for helping out with the coin mixers.
Yeah.
Yep, it's great.
But also, just furthermore, Wasabi and CoinJoin are pretty highly reputable, so I don't think there's any issue with those. There's definitely been tested through the Bitcoin community. If they were scammy by now, they probably wouldn't be as reputable or popular as they are today. Last one, or not last one, next question. This is a good one. If I'm purely investing in crypto to make more money, should I just stick to altcoins instead of Bitcoin and Ethereum?
No. Like,
if you want to keep a hold of your profits, I would do the opposite. If you're new to cryptocurrencies and you think that you are going to pick the one altcoin, that super low market cap, that obscure coin, and it's going to pump to 2000x and you're going to perfectly take profits.
Good luck.
And there's going to be enough volume on there for you to actually take profits and not, send the price crashing before your order can actually fill. There's a lot to consider here. I think that's a huge misconception for new investors, is that they miss the boat with Bitcoin or Ethereum. And so, if they want to actually make money, they have to go in an obscure altcoin. That's complete opposite, because
most of us have missed the boat. I missed the boat at under a cent.
Yeah.
So,
but there's another boat coming, and another boat coming.
Yeah, there's always another boat coming.
And
you see the warships coming in, and yeah, it's definitely going to overtake the entire fiat system.
Yeah,
so
it used to be a little rowboat. Oh, that's a good analogy.
But what's going to happen as well. You know that family offices. You have giant hedge fund managers that have been like financial titans of the world, that are interested in this space and actually changing their tune. Like, say for instance you got in now and it's at $33,500. So say for instance you got in now, you held for 4 years, 5 years, and you're strictly just to make money, long-term investment, it goes to $1 million. Well, that's 300x. It's pretty good.
And for doing nothing but buying and holding.
Yeah, or sorry, 30x. So not 300x. I need to do my math. But 30x is pretty good, especially say you have, $10,000 or whatever, and you're at 300,000. That's pretty good. So.
Yeah, and also, again, if you're new to cryptocurrency and you think, the chance you're not going to be able to, maybe I'm wrong, unless you've been studying it for a long time and now you're finally ready to invest. The ability to identify what to look for a potential in a new cryptocurrency, you just don't get that if you're brand new to the space, because the only kind of trading signals you're going to get or fall for are the people who are loud on Twitter, whatever the celebrities are putting out. And I know I've been kind of kicking that dead horse about the celebrities and stuff, but basically if you bought Bitcoin when Elon tweeted about Bitcoin, that was like the top, and then you lost money. If you bought Bitcoin when he was talking about Doge, that was the top and you lost money. And just rinse and repeat. So again, what we're always saying in our philosophy is always to start with the safe ones. There's no guarantees in cryptocurrency, but by far the safer ones are Bitcoin and Ethereum, if nothing else than just for their network effect, not even talking about the strength and decentralization of their network. And then, venture out into the other altcoins, because that's a ton of risk. And most altcoins don't last more than like 2 or 3 years. Most come out during a bull run and then they die in that bull run, and that's it.
Yeah, just look at the 2017, 2018 bull run.
And
look at the top 100. Yeah. How many are still around?
And if you went like all in on those altcoins, do you know how much you're gonna want that to keep going up? And then you're going to be in denial when it starts dropping. You're not going to be able to have the cojones to take profit, because you're if you went all in on a random altcoin, quite frankly, you're pretty greedy and you're taking on maybe more risk than you're understanding. And so you're not going to be able to identify when to take profit. And then when it does start dropping again, you're going to be in denial about that. And then you're going to be left holding your bag, which is worth a lot less than it was when you invested in it. Yeah. So anyway, I hope we weren't being too harsh with this person. I know it's someone who's actually asking this question.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. People really need to hear this.
Yeah.
That is actually one of the most important things, because that's what the noobs do. They get into these altcoins. Like, for instance, I met somebody the other day here at this villa, and I'm like, oh, so did you get any Bitcoin? And he's like, no, I got some Tron, and I got some XRP or something like that.
Classic.
I'm like,
yeah.
Like, wow, man, no Bitcoin, really? Like, and then I asked, why did you get into it?
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh, I just decided to get into it. He doesn't know anything about it. And I'm like, oh man. So people are going to get screwed because of this. Yeah, XRP is probably going to do very well, but you saw what happened in the last bear market. Got obliterated from, like, what was it? A couple bucks or whatever to 5 cents. Destroyed. Anyways.
Next question. In your opinion, where is the best bang for your buck location? Looking for ideas on places abroad with lower cost of living while still enjoyable to retire to. Wanting to use my past few years in crypto to retire early after this bull run, hopefully, but probably would need a more relatively cheap area. Just curious on your thoughts, since you guys have to travel. Love to travel. I mean, first...
Depends on what you like in life.
Exactly. You need to pay attention to, first, like, location-wise, like, what do you enjoy? The ocean, the mountains, the city, and also, like, what kind of culture are you interested in? Have you done a lot of travel in your life? Have you been to Europe? Have you been to Southeast Asia? Have you been to Africa? So, I mean, right off the bat, affordable living, I go to places like Southeast Asia or certain parts of Europe can be super affordable with pretty high quality of life if you like that kind of life. Not everyone likes it, so it's not going to be as high of quality for them.
Yeah, for instance, we're living a great life here in Indonesia.
Yeah, we're not moving here permanently. We're just here, for a few months, and then, but we tend to, I mean, obviously we revisit here because it's beautiful and very affordable to be here.
Yeah, it's great. And we can work online, and quality of life is incredible. It's super high. It's warm water, beautiful empty
Good
waves. I mean, we have an ocean
kind
view
of
right
empty
here.
waves.
Like,
Depends
we just
where you
go to sleep with the ocean, and it's great.
I mean, also, if you're not, because like we travel a lot, but we tend to travel to the same types of places. So again, we might not have the expertise that you necessarily want. We don't know what you want. But typically, if you can find or identify, a general location or a culture that you enjoy, food that you enjoy, environment that you enjoy, or if you want the city life, but if you're looking for something more affordable, typically there's like secondary cities or just little counties or villages that are just outside of that big city that can be more affordable to live. So yeah, just things to consider, but it's a fun thing to explore and try to get into, is thinking about, where you want to retire to.
Well,
and
also be aware of, like,
live your
crypto
life.
taxes as well, which countries are going to tax you as well.
Yeah.
So some countries are way more lenient than others. Obviously, the U.S. is heinous when it comes to taxes and regulations and crap and stuff, and that's why we want nothing to do with that place, because we based our lives on cryptocurrencies. If we didn't, then the U.S. would be a fine place to live. It'd be fine to pay your taxes or whatever.
Yeah.
But, as far as the regulations are concerned, holy cow, it's crazy over there. It's a nutball. So, yeah. Anyways, with that said, let's go to the next question.
Yeah, last question. Which stablecoin do you consider to be the safest option? Is the USDT, also known as Tether FUD, something to take seriously?
Feathercoin. Remember that? Feathercoin?
Oh yeah, there was a Feathercoin.
Yeah, there was a Feathercoin.
See? What happened to Feathercoin,
Yeah,
guys?
it used to be the be-all, end-all, and then nothing.
It rebranded to something else. Is the USDT FUD something to take seriously in your opinion, or is it just FUD?
There are some truths to USDT for sure. And so my suggestion is that you look at all the FUD, you make the choice of, like, okay, is this FUD really worth risking this part of my portfolio on? And if it is, then go for it. But if it's not, why would you do that? Because you have other options out there. You have USDC, Coinbases, you have USDG, Gemini's. Like, DAI, which is a
Elastic supply.
yeah, it's an elastic supply based on Ethereum, and so like, why risk it? Like,
Yeah.
I understand like somebody wants to go on BlockFi, which we have put some Tether on there or a USDC over, but like BlockFi, I think it had like 9.3% API. They recently changed it to 5%, which is crazy haircut. But I understand why people were like, okay, I'm going to risk a little bit and go into Tether and put it on BlockFi. But other than that, like it's probably not worth it in my opinion. Yeah, I've heard FUD for the last 5 years or so on it. Nothing's come about really, and it's been fine. But any day, you never know. I think that could be dangerous in the future, especially when governments get threatened by stable currencies, which they are, and which they have been vocal about. So just be careful.
Yeah. But also there's, speaking of FUD, since like 2016 is really when I started noticing it about Tether. Since then, they've kind of proven it by changing their bank that they bank with like so many times, and also changing their policies of what they're actually backing the coins with, what they're not backing the coins with. But there's also that huge conspiracy with them and Bitfinex and them pretty much propping up the Bitcoin market. But I mean, honestly, in this day and age of Bitcoin, specifically Bitcoin, who is buying Bitcoin now? It pales in comparison. The Tether FUD or whatever, the manipulation with that pales in comparison to the amount of money that's dealing with.
If you want to keep up with the Tether FUD, there's this guy on Twitter named Bitfinex.
Yeah.
And
apostrophe D.
Yeah, so he'll give you kind of information on what's happening with Tether. So, and that is why I've not put in. I've not put a lot of money into Tether.
And also, oh, sorry, go ahead.
That's it. Yeah.
What I was going to say is also too, back in 2016 when this all started really coming to our attention, is there wasn't really any other option outside of Tether for a stablecoin option. But now, like you said, there's so many different ones. So really,
no point in risking
like
it.
Why? There's really nothing to worry about because you can just easily trade it into another stablecoin. Furthermore, I noticed there's some beginners wondering if they used Tether to buy a certain altcoin, if their altcoin is also tied to whatever happens with Tether. No, you can take that coin and trade it for any other coin that you like, and then or trade it right into another different stable coin depending on what exchange you're using. You're not tied, whatever trading pair you're using with Tether, you're not tied to it. You're not tethered to Tether.
You're not tethered to Tether.
If you buy Ethereum with Tether, you can sell your Ethereum for USDC, or sell your Ethereum for Bitcoin, or sell your Ethereum for whatever you want. So I just wanted to clear that up too. There might have been some confusion.
Sure.
Oh, that was the last question. Okay, thank you everyone for tuning in. We appreciate you watching and leaving a like if you enjoyed these videos, and hit subscribe if you haven't yet, and join the Crypto Tips family.
And also check out our Patreon. Patreon is a great way for you to look at our portfolio, our trades, things like that.
Classes.
And also learningcrypto.com. Sign up for Heidi's free newsletter. It's amazing. And stay disobedient. And please don't follow the sheep.
We'll see you guys later.